Vintage City Groups, good evening. Hey, we are here again in Proverbs chapter 12. We're in verse 9. Verse 9 deals a little bit with finance, and it deals a little bit with our attitude towards finances. It is better to be a nobody with a servant than to be self-important but have no food. It is better to be a nobody with a servant than to be self-important but have no food. The idea of being a nobody is not something that we would naturally lean into and say, yeah, I'm just living to be a nobody. I mean, that seems very contrary to the way we want to live. The word phrase literally means to just be held lightly. So in the Hebrew, the word's not about how I view myself. It's about how I am okay with others viewing me. The phrase self-important carries the idea of revealing oneself with weight and importance. Glory is connected to it. It's literally being a glory seeker. I'm someone, I want people to see me as a man of substance. What Solomon's getting at is a real issue for us. It's living in a way that causes others to think we're bigger or better off than we are. For this word better here is the same word that he uses in previous verses to describe a good man, where he's talking about being good, being agreeable and gentle and gracious. So what he says here is, it's honestly better for you to be on the side of the equation that is good and agreeable and perfect. It's to allow yourself to be viewed as a nobody. What Solomon is really saying to me is that living for the applause of others, living above our means financially to impress others, is a path of wickedness. It's a path to destruction. You see, the enemy loves to prey upon our insecurities. And the Father loves to make us secure. That's really the difference in the way they handle their relationships. I would just love to submit to us, finances are not a measurement of who we are. They're a tool and a resource that have been entrusted to us to steward. Therefore, the only opinion of my finances that I long for is the opinion of my Father. I want to know that He's proud of how I'm handling them. You say, well, I don't have very much. Well, the Scriptures say, be faithful with little and God will give you much. And maybe you have a lot and you've become slack and you've lost your diligence. My dad used to quote this all the time. To whom much is given, much is required. So the more the Lord entrusts to us, the higher the responsibility level. All of this is for me to tell you, I want you to learn to live your financial life unto Him. And there's 3 simple ways that we can do that. Proverbs talks about wise planning brings success. So I would say the first one is plan or budget. When we budget, we're aware of our world and we can give an account for it. It means I'm standing before God as a man or as a woman saying, I understand everything around me. I understand what you've given me to be responsible for. Here's my accounting of it. You say, I don't know how to budget. It's really simple. Pay attention to what you spend, figure out where you should spend it, and decide not to spend it where you shouldn't. That's the simplicity of a budget. For me, I write it out. I categorically just lay all the areas down in life that I know, like if it's gas money or if it's dining out money or if it's food money or if it's rent or if it's a house payment or whatever. And I just make all these categories. My tithe is part of that. I make all the categories and listen, and I look at what am I consuming with that, and I look at my income and ask the question, am I living beyond my means or below my means? That's the basis of a budget. And then we set numbers and we stay within those. The second aspect of living our financial life under the Lord is giving. The Bible talks about tithing and special giving, special offering. See, when I give, I align with what He says, and I open a door for Him to bless. Can I give you a secret? Giving is a signal to heaven to pour more resources into my life. Because giving is a statement of trust. When I give, it's not just because God said to. It's because I'm saying, I trust you, Lord. I trust you. And my resources belong to you. And thirdly, so we have plan, give, and save. Proverbs says, consider the ant. And it talks about storing for the future. When we save, we're protecting the future and declaring to heaven that we understand how to become a storehouse. You see, because that's God's plan for us, is to become a storehouse. Storehouses grow. Start wherever you are, no matter how much you have. Start wherever you are and allow yourself to become a storehouse. You say, I only have $5 a month extra. Great. Put that $5 a month extra into the bank and trust God with principle, not with amount. Your Father has a desire for you to grow your life to bless you. We have become so verklempt on this issue. We wonder if somehow suffering and poverty are spiritual gifts. They're not spiritual gifts. The principles of the kingdom, all the way through the kingdom, it's always been God's heart to bless and prosper people in front of the world who's willing to live by His standards and His principles. Does that mean we won't go through difficulty? No, that's not what that means. That's ridiculous. It just means the heart of the Father is to take care of us. But I think for us to walk in that blessing and that favor, it requires that we live according to the way He's called us to live financially. And so those three things. Plan, which means get on a budget and learn how to manage resources instead of just hoping there's enough at the end of the month. Secondly, give. Be committed to giving. Give your tithe, give special offerings. Allow yourself to become a conduit, because that's what the Lord loves, a cheerful giver. And it's impossible, by the way, to outgive God. The man who gives to the poor lends to God, and God will not allow himself to be held in debt by anyone. And then thirdly, save. Save money. Plan ahead. Create a storehouse concept in your home and just say, Lord, we're going to be a storehouse. We may not be able to store much right now, but we're going to store what you've given us. Love you guys. Heading into the fall, it's going to be a great season, and looking forward to enjoying life together. Blessings.